Hello there everybody, thank you for joining me once again. I'm Kim Gow from Colour Passion. Today I thought we would experiment with the Deep Pour Resin. We're going to do some moulds. I've got some moulds here. AJ Moulds is the brand of these ones. They're very heavy, they're very thick. I actually bought them from a lovely lady. Thank you, Dee, if you're watching. Dee unfortunately couldn't continue with her resin because she had a severe reaction. So she was broken-hearted and devastated, and I understand that totally. So I've been the recipient of her beautiful moulds. So I'm going to have a go at using those. So I thought we would do a couple of floral ones. The floral ones, I've got some roses that I've dried myself in the silicone gel beads. And that's a whole new learning experience as well, because you can put them in, I think they say 2 to 4 days, 2 to 5 days, they should be dry, but I had to go away, didn't I? So they left them there for a couple of weeks, and maybe I've over dried them, I don't know, but anyway, see how we go. So that's the roses. We'll have a bit of a dabble with that. And I also found these cute little birdies, and I'll show you. They're like, they're like that. And I just thought how cute that they would look in a mould. So I'm going to give those a whirl as well. I think the challenge could be, because they're so light, because they're full of air. And the one thing I suppose that concerns me is how to get the air out. I don't know how we're going to do that. So anyway, we'll give that a go and see what happens as well. And we'll all be learning together. So if anybody has any tips, feel free to send them my way, because we're going to be learning together on this, because I've not done it before. I've used the Deep Pour Resin with great success with my charcuterie boards. I love them and love the Deep Pour Resin. So let's go and experiment and see what happens when we do the dried flowers and the little birdies into the mould, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll all turn out. Okay everybody, here we are. So I've got one little birdie already partially submerged into the mould. Then that's going to hold it. And then I'm going to pour in some more clear and see how that one turns out. I've got an empty mould to show you how I'm going to do this. I'll do another little one. I just thought they were really sweet, and it's just a good way to test things. Now, yeah, that's probably okay, because I want it so that it's sort of submerged enough so the feathers don't stick up, you know, through the resin once it's poured. So I'm looking at something just to kind of weigh it down so it doesn't float. So we can do our, actually what I'll do, I think, I've mixed up my resin, and this is the PuDuo Deep Pour Resin. Actually, it's still got a little bit of stringiness there, so I'm just going to give that a little bit more of a stir. So we want to make sure our resin's mixed properly. I did mix it for 3 minutes, but sometimes they need a little bit more. So just put it here. I think that that's going to be okay, because there is bubbles, but they're going to dissipate anyway, because that's the nature of this. Yep, this, that's good. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pour it in gently. Just so that there's enough. Hopefully it won't float, but it'll secure it. It's actually gone quite well, so I might not have to put anything on it, but I don't want it. Yeah, I think I will. Put his little head under that thing there, but at least it's going to hold it, hopefully. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's all. Should be okay. Good. All right, so I'm just going to let that sit and cure. And then this one, the other one here, I've already done that on the first little birdie, which I didn't film, but that's all right. You get the gist of it. So now I'm just going to fill it up. I mean, if you had different resin, you could do like several pours, but I think this is going to be okay because it's held now. I haven't got lots of flowers or anything like that. So I'm just going to put a little bit more in. Must have used a bit more than I thought in the other one there, so I might just have to mix up a little bit more so that I've got enough to fill this up totally. It's always the way, isn't it? Just a little bit more I need. Come on, over you go. But I'm still going to need a little bit more. So probably what I can do to save me mixing it up, what I'm going to do, I'm going to be a bit tricky. I'm actually going to pour some of this out into it. Then I'll set this little birdie down in this one. And then I think that should be fine, because then I'm going to top this up anyway. And that should be okay. I'm just going to have to sit that in there again. Okay. I think we're going to be good. Let's push it back a little bit. Right, good. All right then, we're going to let this cure, and the little bubbles will come up and they should all dissipate. Now, I'm not going to put the heat torch on that. What I am going to do is I'm going to spritz it with the isopropyl alcohol, and that breaks down the bubbles. So that's another way of doing it. And see how we go. All right, and then that one there's going to do its thing. Okay, guys, well, I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll see how this is settled down, and then I'll make up some more resin for this one, and then I'll just see if this is going to be ready to demold tomorrow. It's got a little something in it. Very good. Okay, I'll catch you tomorrow. Okay, we're here the next day. This is still very, very soft, as you can see, because a deep pour resin takes around 72 hours to cure. So we can't do anything more with that little one. But what we can do is with this one here, we can add some more. So I'm just going to pull that gently over. Actually, it's interesting, I've just noticed because I always do my ratios by weight, by volume, and this is actually by weight, so that caught me a little bit off guard. Oh, I didn't quite do enough. I'm going to have to mix up a little bit more, put a little bit more over the top of Birdie's head, I think. Probably threw myself out a little bit because of the weight ratio. In fact, I know it did because I put in less. All right, well, I'll mix up some more and be back. Okay, everybody, I wasn't sure whether I was going to do this or not, but I'll give it a go. So what I've done is I've got some rose buds here, and I've put a skewer through to support them, to hold them in place, hoping it's going to work. It's been quite fiddly. So now we'll just pour the resin in, and once again we just pour enough in so that it holds it, so that it cures enough to hold them for when we do, you know, the next pour. I really hope this is going to work. It seems like it is. There seems to be enough weight with them holding it like that. So I think I'm just going to leave it like that and see how we go. And the rest of it I'll pour into the other birdie. I think there's enough weight there that it won't float. It's a whole new game, this deep pouring, I tell you. It's interesting, very interesting, and I am enjoying playing with it, but it's just when you don't know what it's going to do. So anyway, let's let that sit now, and tomorrow we'll come back and we'll pour some more. Okay, I just thought I'd show you how I improvise the little birdie, because I put a little bit more of that resin in because I mixed up a bit too much. What it's done is the little birdie kept floating. I thought it was secured, but clearly it wasn't. So what I've done is I've put a stir stick over, which I know is silicone, so I know it won't stick to the resin on the little birdie's head, and I just wanted it to go a little bit further down. So what I've done is I've put a couple of spatulas there as well, and I've put the bottle on top to hold it in place. So let's hope that it works its magic for us. And then of course we've got these ones, and hopefully they look like they're staying in place beautifully. So tomorrow I can pull out the skewers, they'll be anchored, and then we can pour some more resin. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, here we are the next day. Everything's okay. These have sat beautifully with all my skewers stuck through. The little birdie got a little bit off centre there by the looks. It's just gone to one side. So anyway, that's how it is. We're just having a little bit of an experiment here. So I've mixed up the resin. So obviously this is the deep pour, the PuDuo Deep Pour. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this one up. See how we go with that. Then what I'm going to do is, with the rest, I'm going to put it onto the flowers here. I'm just going to, I think I might just pull these out actually. Let's have a look. It'll be interesting because I haven't done it before. Gosh, I don't want to come out. Probably because they're stuck in the resin. Okay, well, we live and we learn, don't we? Let's have a look here if I can get this off. Okay. Now, just have to, oh goodness. See, they're stuck down quite firm actually. Oh dear. Okay, so obviously what's happened is that they've gone down right through into the resin and they've stuck there rather firm. So I'm just going to have to be very gentle but firm when I pull them out. Gosh, okay. Not coming out very easily, that's for sure. And I've managed to get the resin on the arm. Okay. Let's see how we go here. Oops. Okay, I'm going to have to just come back to you in a moment and I'll see what I can do about getting them out. Okay, back again. I managed to get them out. Gee, it was quite a struggle though. So in fact there's one little bit broken off in there which you can't see, but yeah, it was a real struggle to get those out. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just sort of gently pour it over top of the petals and that, just so that just a little bit goes in, so that it's got room, if you like, for the bubbles to come to the surface. Because there will be air caught up in those petals. So if we just gently put it like this, and we've still got them on the surface, it will allow them to escape. That's the plan. So we'll see what happens. And then we'll come with a final layer tomorrow. So we're getting there. This is all very new for me. I haven't done it before, as I said, so hopefully it will turn out lovely. That's the plan anyway. We'll find out together, I think. Pop a little bit into there. If anyone's got any suggestions, please, by all means, pop it into the comments because, as I said, first time I've done this, so it's all very new, and I thought I would share it with you. Okay, there we go. So we'll let that do its thing. Hope it's going to be all right, because when I was pulling out the skewers, it actually pulled the whole thing kind of a bit high from the actual mould. So I'm hoping it's going to be all right. Anyway, we'll see. I'm just going to, just with my little torch, just a little bit over the top, and for the little birdie. It's totally submerged now, so we'll just see how that goes. The other one I'm going to leave as well, because you need to leave this for a good 48 hours at least before, a little bit there, before we actually remove it from the mould, because it's 72 hours before it properly sets. So we probably actually should leave it even the whole 72 hours just to make sure that it is all cured rather lovely. Okay guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning everybody, here we are again. I've just realised, I've just opened these now, and we've got some bubbles here, air bubbles now. That is not from the resin, that is from the little birdie, and there was full of air, which is why I was having trouble making it sort of sit straight. And what's happened is, you know, the air bubbles have come to the surface. So what I'm going to try and do, I thought I'll give it a go. I'll drill it down, sorry, not drill it down, sand it down a bit, and then I'll put like another little layer on the top, and I'm hoping that should cover it. And I've got mixed up more resin, so we're ready for this one here, but I'm just going to try doing this first and see how we go. So I'll do that and I'll pop back. Okay, I've done that, but it's still quite soft, so therefore it's sort of showing some little white bits. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let that sit, I think, for another day or so. Then I'll come back and do it, I think, because when it's soft, it sort of has almost like a little bit of a rubbery effect on it. And that's not what we want, because I think you'll be able to see that when I pour over the top. So, and I can't successfully sort of really remove it. So I'm sort of thinking I'll just let it go, as I said, and see how we go, you know, maybe in another 24 hours. And hopefully it's going to be hard enough so that I can then maybe come in again and then pop in a little layer over the top. I'll see how we go. Oh gosh, there's a little petal. But so far, this is turning out pretty good. But again, it's soft as well. But we'll see how we go. So I'm just going to pour this gently over. I am expecting some bubbles to come up from those two pink rosebuds, so hopefully it'll be all right. You can see them all popping up now. So whether it's the sort of thing where I should have just poured like a little drizzle over and let that done, or this, I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll find out together. This is certainly an experiment, that's for sure. I wasn't sure how much resin to pour, but I think I've well and truly done enough. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Leave that there, and I'll use that for something else. All right, well, we'll just let this, just a little bit here, just come across the top there. But those bubbles will work their way out as they have done underneath. So, all right, we will let it go then and see what happens tomorrow. Okay, everybody, it's been a couple of days actually, and I've mixed up some more resin for this mould. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to drizzle, it's not a lot, and I'm just going to be putting that into the centre of the roses so that the air bubbles have an easy possibility to escape. because after that last one, I had to just sort of keep babysitting it, making sure that all the air bubbles got out. So I'm just putting this in enough now so that, as I said, it's got the space there for the air to escape. It's a bit like shells. Shells are the same. They, the resin's absolutely fine. There's no bubbles in the resin, but it's the air bubbles that escape and float to the top. So hopefully this is going to all work out. I think I'm going to leave it at that because I really so want it to work out without problems of bubbles. Maybe just a little bit more on that one because it looks like it can take some more. Should be okay. As long as from the top, I guess, that they can do it. And I'm just going to maybe just drizzle a bit more over the top of these little ones here. That should be fine. Good. All right, well, I'm going to leave that for another 24 hours. Yeah, I can see it popping out there. I'll leave that and then I'll come back and we'll do the next section. I think that's the secret with flowers, to do them in sections rather than do like a little bit then the lot. I think the secret is to do it in sections. So that's what we're going to do. All right, I'll see you for the next section. Now here's our little birdie that we had the other day. Remember, I had the air bubbles that had come to the surface from the inside of that little bird there. So what I've done is I waited for it to cure and I've come back over with the Dremel because it's now cured and it won't sort of be like a soft resin which leaves kind of white rubbery sort of effect. So I'm hoping this is going to work. We'll just one way to find out, isn't there? Give it a go. So we'll see what happens. All right, so now I'm just going to pour the resin on. And I'm just going to pour it all over. I'll probably have to end up smoothing off the edge because it'll be a bit higher than what we want. But I'm hoping it's going to do what we want it to do and fill up those holes, and hopefully you won't see them. And if you can, well, you know what, we just put it down to experience. All right, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to, if I can find my other little torch over here, I'm just going to go across there to, or I could spritz it with the alcohol, but I think I'm just going to do it with this first and see how they go. Can see a couple of little bubbles in there, so I don't know how it's going to go, but might be okay. I'm okay if it's minimal, you know, I can live with that and just put it down to experience, but I might have to come back and just check it in a while, just kind of babysit it if we like. There's just a couple of little bits in there. Anyway, we'll see what happens. As I said, it's a learning experience, and sometimes with doing these techniques and things, you've just got to plan for the best but prepare for the worst, and don't get too stressed if it doesn't work out the first time. It might take a couple of times to sort of work out how these things all come together and the best way of doing, you know, a particular project. So I'm just wiping around the excess there, hoping that maybe it'll be all right, and yep, we'll go from there. Okay guys, well, we'll see you probably tomorrow or the next day. We'll wait till it's cured and then we'll pop some more in the other one over there, and then we'll see how this one's turned out. Okay, I have demolded three of the pours. This one was quite interesting. This was the roses one. Still, that was the one where I was still learning about the bubbles and things like that. Interesting. When I tried to pull up for those spatulas, which I learnt now, that I pushed them in too firmly, it lifted the whole mould up. And as a result, this has happened on the back, which actually is perfect. Look, you could hang that up on a nail or whatever, and it would be perfect because it's perfectly centered. So that's a little bit interesting. Didn't expect that to happen at all. But look, it's very crystal clear. And then that was a little imperfection here, and that again was because it lifted up because I pulled it up so tight. But otherwise, look, it's very pretty. So happy with that one. And here's one of the little birds. And that's pretty good. That was the first one I did. You there's a couple of little air bubbles there. And then this was the other little birdie, which actually turned out pretty good, because that was the one that I actually got my drill and I drilled out, and you can barely see that now. So, you know, this is the first attempt. A couple of little bubbles on his tail there. So it's, I guess for me, what I've learned out of this exercise is it's all about preparing it so that with air bubbles, you absolutely minimize them. So this one, haven't unmolded yet, so we'll give it a go now. They're very solid, these molds. Gosh, I don't know how I'm going to get this out. I think also one thing I've learned is that I will next time probably use the demolding spray, because I think that would help it a lot as well. Sorry everybody, holding me up. Because this is all new to me, I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but I just haven't worked it out yet. Okay. Rather than hold you up, I'll stop the video, and then once I've got it half out, I'll put it back on. Okay, here we are. I did have a bit of bother getting this out of the mould, and what had happened is that a little area here had stuck to the mould, and I don't know why that would happen, but the lesson to be learnt from here definitely is to use the Mould Release. I'm going to use that spray next time I attempt this, but the resin is beautiful and clear. There's a little air bubble caught from one of the roses down there. These were the roses that I actually dried myself. So I'm happy with it. The resin's clear, and apart from the couple of little air bubbles from the air that's tried to rise, obviously. So all in all, there we go. That is another attempt of the roses. So we've got the 2 roses and then the 2 little birdies. So at least it's an introduction to what we're doing with the deep pour resin with regards to dried flowers. I certainly want to play some more with this, and I'll get some more tips of what to do, and then I shall share it with you once I have done that. Okay everybody, look, I think that's it for another week. Thank you for tuning in and supporting the channel. I really appreciate that. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the like button, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And remember, if you don't give it a go, you'll never know. Take care everybody. Bye for now.